Wave those hands to the heavens.
What I see your heart do. Ah, miracle. Well done. You're welcome. Kola Shade Onireti. Dr. Benga, good to see you. You're welcome. Dr. Boss, Peju, good to see you. Vega Joe. You're all welcome. God bless you.
Praise him, our King. Praise him.
Elizabeth, you're welcome. Wow. Aburo.
Yes, Ego. Good to be here. Sorry, the network was a bit messy. So that was why I couldn't join. Apology, everyone.
Good to see you. You're welcome. Good to see your face.
Yes,
How is Kaduna?
Yeah, Kaduna is good. Yes, Kaduna is fine.
Lockdown. How is the lockdown over there?
We've been on 24 hours lockdown. We are only allowed to move only on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But so far, it's been awesome. It's been good. We are getting used to staying at home.
Oh, wow.
We are getting used to social distancing, which is the norm. But like I always tell people that this generation is so blessed, because I did been into this happened much earlier before 1999. I think it would have been worse.
Yes.
Because then we don't have means of communication. Even I did mean it happened around even 2002, 3, when we've not had awesome network. The internet facility would have been so bad, but everything worked together for good.
To God be the glory. You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody. Good to see you. You're all welcome. Please, can you just wave and say hello to our guest speaker this evening? Please, can you just say hello to her? All right, please.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for the love. Hallelujah. Okay, shall we pray?
Amen.
Our Father, we thank you this evening. We bless your holy name. We thank you for your favor. We thank you for your faithfulness. We thank you for making this meeting a reality. So you be all the glory, honor, and majesty in the name of Jesus. Spirit of the living God, we ask that you take preeminence now. We ask that you take us to your place, to that secret place, to the place of understanding, to the place of wisdom. Lord, let there be a release and an impartation of your spirit and your intellect and your intelligence to us in the name of Jesus. Take over all our deliberations, permeate our spirit, make it receptive ground for the seed of your word. Thank you, everlasting Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah. All right, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm
Yes,
excited.
sir.
All right, can you see your sister?
Yes, sir.
Oluwatoyin.
You know, I love you always. I love you anytime. Mwah. Thank you for always getting my back.
All right, good evening,
I can
everybody.
see Doctor too. Thank you. I love you
Yeah.
all. I don't need to say it. You know, I love you all. I love you. I love you.
All right. All right. Good evening once again, everybody. Nice to have you fellowship with us this evening. God that has brought you will bless you in the name of Jesus. All right. Our
Amen.
special guest this evening is by name Fola Rojugboka. She is my sister. Hallelujah. I think I've known her.
Amen.
I must have known you now for close to, is it not going to 20 years if I'm right, right?
Yes. Yes. It's up.
All right. All right. She's a friend to my younger sister, and since my younger sister brought her home, she has been a part of our family. Hallelujah. She has done well for herself. Let me just go over her CV briefly, and then I'll give her some time to talk before we go into questions. All right. She's the founder of Pathfinder, an empowerment resource center, which is a non-government governmental organization. She deals mainly with empowerment, mentoring, coaching, and sexual abuse of teenagers. She's the convener of the yearly leadership conference for teenagers called Catalyst. She once invited me over and I ministered there. It's a powerful meeting. All right, she holds a master's degree in animal production and the PGD in counseling and psychotherapy. She also holds certifications in applied positive psychology, emotional intelligence, counseling, psychotherapy, business study, and family system and engineering. Let me just stop there. Hallelujah. You know, I was yabbing her some days ago. I said, I'm going to be locked away. Go. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. All right, she's here with us this evening, and in a short while, we'll be going to our section on questions. Tonight, we'll be dealing with a very critical topic. We said raising godly children in a rapidly changing world. The truth of the matter, like we said last week again, is our world has changed. There is nothing we can do about it. Our world has literally changed. There is a direct change from February to now. I was telling some set of people that even you yourself, you have changed. By the time they lift the lockdown, that's when you will actually discover that you have changed. You have developed new habits. You have developed new thinking patterns. Some people have become very lazy. You might not know now that you are lazy. It's by the time office resumes and you are supposed to run your 9 to 5. That's when you discover that by 12:1, you are tired. It's because you are developing some funny habits. Praise the Lord. But before we go into the questions, I want her to talk briefly. You know, in our CV, I've read to you, I'm sure, for so many of us, looks like big grammar. But I want her to talk to us briefly on what she does, our trainings, and how it can benefit. Then talk briefly about the family and the youth, and then we'll go into our section of prayer. Our section of questions and answers. All right, you're welcome. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, well, Egbon, thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for always having my back. I am so grateful because I have to just do this so that the whole world will know. Let me just quickly say a little about the Adeoye family. You know, when I was in the higher institution, I had it so rough. Tony has been so awesome. Everybody in their family, you know, they took me in as if they have known me for so long. Their parents of blessed memory, you know, they were wonderful people. I just want the world to know that this family, they are one of the best that I've ever seen. I love you, Egbon. I love you. I love you, Auntie Boste. I love you, Tony. I love you, Dr. Gbenga. I love every one of you. And you know, I don't need to say that. You all know that I love you from the depth of my heart. Okay.
God bless you. Thank you for the honor. All right.
All right. Okay, going to the business of today, I will just talk briefly about you know, what I do. Actually, I have 10 years experience working with adolescents and you know, family. I work with family who think that adolescents are a big problematic, because you know what I keep telling people is that there's no problematic children. We just have adults who doesn't understand how to handle children, because in my work actually with children, I have discovered so many things. I have learned, I have relearned, and I have unlearned. I also help to, you know, offer psychological help for children who have been into drugs, who have been sexually abused. I have done a lot, especially in the area of sexually abuse. So if you have anyone that is listening to me now that has been sexually abused, or maybe sensing something like that in the family, you can always reach out to me on my Instagram page. Is Fola at _ the Pathfinder. That is my my IG handle. So you can reach out to me. I'm a family life practitioner. I help parents, you know, get clarity with their children to build a better bond between, you know, both parties. That is just few out of all that I do. But most especially when it comes to Teens Matter, you know, that is my area of strength. And when it comes to parenting, that is my core. So today, you know, because we don't have much time, I'm talking about raising godly children in this changing world. You know, just like Egbon said earlier, sorry, he's a pastor, but to me, he's my Egbon, so I will refer to him all through my conversation as Egbon. So I'm so sorry to the members of Icon of Glory. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's how I call him. I call him Egbon, and I can look for his trouble a lot. I think I'm the only one that knows how to trouble him a lot. So, okay, you know, we are talking about raising children. And this is what I always tell people about raising children, that raising children is actually a learning process, and no parent is going to get it all right. You know, I just have to lay that foundation. Raising children is actually a learning process. We are all learning, because one thing that I have found out is that, you know, so many times we prepare for marriages, we go for counseling, you know, called premarital counseling, but so many times we are not even prepared for parenting. That is what I have found out. So many people, they don't even know what parenting is all about. And just like Egbon said during the introduction, a lot of things are going to change, and truly a lot of things are not going to remain the same, especially after this COVID, because a lot of people are going to find out that the people that they thought they could not do without, they will find out that like Kaduna now, we've been on lockdown for 8 weeks. So I've not even seen any of my friends in 8 weeks. So for some people that thought that, okay, they could not do without this person for 8 weeks, maybe they have not even seen the person. So a lot of things are going to change, especially for churches. I'm telling you, and I hope churches are actually, you know, prepared for this, because a lot of people will be so comfortable now with online service. So a lot of things are going to change. So a lot of things are changing, and you know, because of a lot of things are evolving, especially when it comes to digital, when it comes to social media. I have found out in my work with parents that even for me, let me even use my own family as an example. I found out that if not because we are so deliberate in our communication, sometimes all of us, we are at home and we are in the same house, and yet we are not communicating. Why? Because we are communicating with something that cannot talk back to us. That is the smartphone. And I want to believe that 90 or if not even 100% of those who are listening to me now, they are listening to me using their mobile phone. Because I'm also using my mobile phone. So a lot of things are changing. So it's, you know, a lot of people are finding it so challenging, parenting so challenging, because we are raising children in a world that is totally different from the world that we are actually raised in. And that is just the simple truth. We are seeing what has never happened. It has never occurred that the whole world will be on total lockdown. You cannot travel, you cannot go out. So a lot of things are changing. And you know, this has really affected a lot of people when it comes to mental health. And you know, a lot of parents have not even had this adequate time with their children in a long time. So you see, some parents are finding it difficult even to bond with their children. So there are a lot of challenges. I have received so many calls. I have had to cancel, you know. But when it comes to raising children, I want us to look at it in the parable of the sower that Jesus Christ told in the Bible. Raising a child starts from the day the child is being conceived. You see, if you look at the parable of the sower, you will discover that some seed they drop on some on the rock, some on the thorn, you know, some on unfertile ground. And then what that showed us that when this seed, when they eventually died and they started germinating, the roots were not so strong enough to withstand, you know, the storm, the wind, the flood, you know, that came. So that is exactly how parenting is. The moment we conceive a child, what we want about that child, we should start saying it to the child. You know, the Bible makes us to realize that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So the moment we conceive a child, our role and our job as a parent began at that day. And then once we give birth to the child, then we began to teach the child. And one thing I always tell people is that every child, they actually came to this world with a clean template. Every child, they learned whatever they learned from people around them. They learned from the society, they learned from the father, they learned from the mother, they learned from school. So every child, everything a child, every trait that you are seeing in a child, every behavior, every character you are seeing in a child, they actually learned it. And you know, as parents, we are the first teacher, because the first contact a child will have in life is with the parent. And one thing that I have discovered, especially with parenting in Africa, is that we are parenting based on assumption. We assume so many things. We assume we know. We assume that once you give birth to a child, you automatically become a good parent. But see, parenting is actually a skill that should be learned. Parenting is a skill that should be learned. And, you know, anytime I'm talking about parenting, I always like to relate it with farmers. You know, when a farmer plants a seed, the farmer will not just leave the seed in the soil without, you know, wetting it, without applying fertilizer, without removing the weed around the plants. The same thing has to do with parenting. Our children, they are like seed that we germinate. They keep growing. So it's what we put inside of them that will grow. So the question I'm asking those who are hearing me this evening is that what value, what value are you putting in your children at a tender age? And you know what? So many times, parents they just it is easy to look at our contemporary culture. You know, our culture has so much eaten deep into us that we don't even know what is true from what is right from what is wrong. You know, a lot of us, we just parent our children, you know, using our children as an experiment. And use them as an experiment without even understanding the child. You know, when you as a farmer, you have like a cocoa seed, you have a corn seed, and then you have a cotton seed. Definitely, you are not going to plant them on the same soil. You are not going to use the same process. You have to understand how a cocoa seed grows. You have to understand how an apple seed will grow. You have to understand how a corn seed will grow. So if you don't understand it, you are going to mess up those seeds. And the same way we have done in our parenting, we have messed up a lot of our children. I kept telling people that there is no bad child. We don't have bad children. We only have bad handlers. Handlers are parents. Handlers are guidance, because so many times as children are growing up, they are showing us a particular sign. Every child comes with a template. And if you don't understand the template for which the child came with, you are going to mess up that child up completely. So one of the skill that parents lack in this generation that is very key is observation skill. If you lack observation skill at this time, you are going to lose your skill, your children, because a lot of things are changing. You see, I see a lot of teenagers come to me and say, Auntie Fola, I am doing this, I am doing that. In fact, there was a child that came to me. There was a case that I handled, and the girl's father was actually sleeping with that girl. And the mother was staying in the same house with them for good 5 years, and the mother never noticed. And I was like, I was like, how possible? How come? Because the first time that would happen, I'm sure before the thing became normal to the child must have shown a sign to the mother that the mother maybe probably was ignorant of. So what I'm saying in essence is that as parents, observation skill is very key in raising children of this generation. A lot of things are changing. And you know what? Either we like it or not, the world has totally moved virtual. Only how it will unfold, we don't know. So if as parents you are not careful, you may lose your children to the virtual world, because every information that those children require, they can easily go to Google and then they find that information without even talking to the parents. So as parents, we have to just we have to be what adjective can I use? We have to just be sensitive enough, to plan how we want our family to be. System is key to parenting. I mentioned observation skill. System is another thing. A lot of us, we don't even have a well-organized life, let alone, organizing our family. So parenting has to start with an individual, because what I have realized in my work with with family, is that children, they learn through model. They learn through what they see, not what they hear. I could remember when I was growing up as a child, in my Sunbeam class, I grew up as a Baptist. In my Sunbeam class, I remember some of my friends then, they were asking our Sunbeam teacher that, is it good to lie? And the Sunbeam teacher said no. And then they went further to say that our parents used to tell us to lie, that they were not at home, whereas they were at home. And these same parents, we still beat the child. We still beat them when they lie. I don't know. I know some of us, you can relate with what I'm saying. When we were growing up, some of us, the parents, they would be inside, and yet they are telling the child to tell the visitor that they were not at home. And yet this same child will lie, and the parent will still beat the child. So more of the things that is required is modeling. I was talking to a group of parents in a particular church, and I asked them that I want to pray a prayer for them. And the prayer is that I want my child to be my secret life. And nobody could say amen. The first time I heard this from my mentor, Praise for Owe, I went back and I was like, yeah, this prayer actually meant a lot of things. Then I began to check my own life too. That yes, do I actually want my children to be my secret life? I had to change a lot of things. I had to also work on myself. Because let me tell you, we are all work in progress. We have to keep working on ourselves. So I have to, either we like it or not, our secret will definitely rub on our children. It will definitely rub on our children. And then another thing that I have also noticed is that, so many times we focus on the fear of parenting. Fear such as, my child may engage in smoking. My child may engage in illicit sex. My child may engage in a negative peer pressure. And because of that, we so much dwell on the negative that we fail to focus on building the character of our children. And what this we actually do is that, just like Job said, he said, what I fear has actually befallen me. I know I said earlier, as a man thinking, is that if you're always thinking that your children we will follow a negative trait, then it will be. Because
All right.
as you think, you are what you think. So don't be like Job. You don't have to parent with fear. But what you have to do is to learn what you need to from people who know how to do it well.
All
Okay,
right.
I just want to quickly chip in this before I start taking the question. Is that, you know, one mistake that we usually make also is that we tend to raise a perfect child, and it's totally a mistake for most parents. Don't raise a child that is perfect, but raise a child that is real. Raise a child that is real. There's a, you know, as long as you want your child to be perfect, you will just, anybody that is raising a perfect child, we always want to follow the child everywhere. And that is why children that are raised under parents who are always after perfection, when they leave their home, they are something else outside the home. I just felt I should say that.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. That has been so enlightening. Thank you. We are very, very grateful. All right. I'll go into the question section. We have quite a number of questions, and so I just want you to touch on them briefly. But I want to start from one of the things that you said. Now, you spoke about observation. Can you give us, because parents are here, children are here, adolescents are here, and all that. Now, can you give us maybe 3, 4, or 5 different types of things, or of things that we should take note of in a child, and what are the likely outcomes of such behavior? So that now, if parents is taking note of it in a child, and if a child himself is taking note of some of those things in himself or herself, we will quickly know what to do.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm going to be using an example. You know, I'm going to actually be using temperament, you know, to explain it. Let me take any child who has a sanguine. You know, sanguine are very. We have 2 categories of temperament. We have an introverted person and we have an extroverted person. So under extroverted we have sanguine, we have choleric, and under introverted we have melancholy, and then we have phlegmatic. So I'm going to start with a sanguine child. You see, sanguine children, they can talk. They are the children that we are always refer to. You can talk for Africa. They can talk, and you know, so many times we usually shut those kind of children when they are growing up. But you know what? Any parent that can handle a child who talks well, they will actually be a very good public speaker. I'm telling you, because in temperament, children who can talk, they are very expressive. They are for those of us parents who are listening to me, there are some children that cannot just hide the way they feel. So instead of shutting them up, as parents, once you have a child who talks, the parent have to learn a listening skill. It's very important. Once you have, I have one of my children talks very well, and I don't shut him down at all. I allow him to express himself, because once you are always keeping them short, once you're always telling them they talk too much, once they are sexually abused or when they are being bullied, they will not talk about it. Because one, they don't want to feel as if they talk too much. Okay, so the time will not permit me to look at each of them in total, but I will just take a little bit of what is common to each of those children, so that, you know, we can understand. Then, for those who are choleric, they are grandmasters. We call them CEOs. You see, choleric children, they are very dogmatic. They are they love to do whatever they want to do. And such children, once they are doing something, they don't want you to interrupt. They don't want you to stop them. That is a potential CEO in your house. So when you have such a child, the child is telling you that, okay, observe me in this way. Observe my strengths. This is it. You see, children that are choleric in nature, they don't take no for an answer. And people tend to see them as being rude. They are not rude. They are not rude, but they don't want you to take no for an answer, because they want you to hear them out first. So I will implore us as parents to still go, you know, and study about some of these traits. Because if you have a child who talks, especially for parents who has a child, maybe a firstborn that is an introverted, let's say that is male. Male people, for example, they are obedient to the core. And then they in fact, they are very good followers. They are good listeners and they are people-oriented. But you see, a choleric child, they are goal-oriented. So if you see a choleric child, they may not even care about people's emotion. They don't care how you feel. So far they can achieve what they want. So if you have a choleric as a child, it's your responsibility as a parent to help your child build their emotions. Because if not, they will be their emotion is usually zero, because they are goal-oriented. They are not people-oriented at all. What they are just after is that I want to do this and I must do it. So it's a responsibility of the parent. If you have a choleric as a child, you have to help them build the people skill. For example, if your child just loves, maybe you give the child the bread to share among his siblings. Choleric may not want to share. So you have to now help them learn how to share, how to think about people first, even though they want to achieve what they want to achieve. Okay? So let's go back to male. You know, I was saying earlier that if you have a male, they are people-oriented, they are very gentle, they are easygoing. They are not troublemaker. But at the same time, for male people, for parents who have male as children, you have to help them build like a resilient spirit. They don't know how to say no. They cannot say no. Male children find it difficult to say no because they are people pleaser. They want to please everybody. So most of the time, when you have a child who is a male, they are prone to sex abuse. So when you have a child who is a male, when they say no, please obey their no. Take their no. Don't force them to say yes when they don't want to say yes. You have to build them up. You have to build their confidence. And then for phlegmatic, they are gentle in fact, they are not friendly. There is a child that will not like to go to party. Is that child that will not like to associate, that will not like to play with other children. So they are actually it skipped my mind though. They are actually okay, when I remember, I will just talk about it. For each of those temperament that I have mentioned, there's actually a hobby. This thing just skipped my mind though. Okay, there's actually where did this thing go? Okay, let's just continue. For each of those these traits. When you notice each of this in your child, especially for children who are phlegmatic, they are actually good in this career. They'll be very good in entrepreneur. Very good in entrepreneur. So for some of us who have children who are phlegmatic, we have to build their socializing skill, because they don't like to socialize. So any child that is either male or phleg, they are prone to any form of abuse. So the work is left for parents, you know, to build their people skill, to let them not people skill now, to help those child, you know, to socialize. They are very timid. That is the word that skipped my mind. Male and phlegmatic children, they are very timid. They don't want to be the first to talk. So we have to build their courage up. It's very important as children, as parents.
All right. Thank you so much for that. All right. We still have quite a number of questions, so you'll just touch them briefly. All right. What are your thoughts on using the rod to raise a child?
Oh, you see, it's actually always a very controversial question, because so many times we get it all wrong. The rod the Bible was talking about it's not actually, this physical rod that we are seeing. It's actually the rod of correction. And then if you look at the etymology of the word rod, it was actually an Hebrew word. If you look at the etymology of the word rod, and you see, the rod is if you are familiar with Psalm 23, he said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Okay, it leads me in the path of righteousness. Rod that the Bible was talking about is the rod of correction, which is discipline. I really don't appreciate that spanking type, especially because what I have noticed is that most of the time when we use rod on children, we are not even beating them because of what they have done. We are actually, it's always a passage of aggression, of the kind of day that we have had, or maybe the type of or the way our life has been miserable. Actually, that's what I have found out. So in the using of rod that the Bible is talking about is actually the rod of discipline. If you look at the etymology of the word rod, and what discipline means is the word disciple. And for those of us who are Christians, we understand the word disciple. And I'm going to explain it so that we can understand. When we go out to win a soul, maybe when you go out for evangelism, when you evangelize to a drug addict, right? If after 2 weeks, you go to the same place, and this drug addict, you now see maybe a pack of weed with him, are you going to actually condemn that smoker? The answer is no. You will be so patient because you're going to be taking your new convert gently. You're going to introduce him to a new life. That is exactly the way rod that the Bible was actually talking about. For us to disciple, if we understand the concept of discipling a new convert, then we understand the rod of discipline that the Bible is talking about. And then another thing I want to say, that even if you have to use cane, you should beat the child, not to actually put wound on the child. Okay? And then beat the child immediately when that thing is done. But I really don't encourage beating. Honestly, I don't encourage beating. There is a way, because the question of there was a survey I did with adolescents, and I asked all of them, has beating actually been effective? The answer I got was no. From like 85%, it was actually no. And most of the time when you beat a child, especially the children of this generation, beat them, they will just, they will just dust it. So there are better things, there are better ways to actually discipline a child. So when the Bible was talking about rod, he wasn't talking about this cane. He was just using it, just the way a shepherd, we watch over his flock. They usually use a rod, and the rod that the shepherd used in the Old Testament, they don't use the rod for the sheep. They use the rod to chase away predators that want to prey on their sheep. So the rod is not actually for the sheep. So I think we all get it wrong. I know, because I think it's a cultural thing, but I think we have to start learning as African parents to look for better ways, even more than rod. So for me, I don't encourage rod.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, it is said that mothers are overly protective of their children. They are often blinded by unconditional love for the child. Now, the question is this: how does a mother know when she crosses the line of genuine care to enabling a bad behavior? Do you understand the question?
That's a very sensitive question. Yes. Yeah, one will actually know, because, but you see, I've actually seen scenarios where, you see, mothers, I usually don't like using mothers alone, because parenting should actually be a collective work between the father and the mother. But you see, over time, I thank God, because things are actually changing. We are getting, a large percentage of a responsible father is actually, increasing daily. So, but in this context, let's just leave it to mother. No, I will not even leave it to mother. Let's just use it as parents generally. But the reason why you see children, when shifting attention to parents, to their mothers, especially taking refuge when they have done something bad, is because mothers are usually the ones staying mostly with the children. They are the one that will cook. They in most cases, they are the one that will make sure the child has eaten, do homework, get the child ready for school. But you see, for mothers who are listening to me, there's a difference between love and there's a limit to how you should love. Yes, we should love unconditionally. But when it comes to bad behavior, we shouldn't actually encourage that, because see, even let's take the issue of Jesus Christ. When he went to the temple, at that point he was a bit angry, because why? Those were the same people he loved. But at that time he needed to do the needful by chastising them at that time. So even though while we are yet sinner, he died for us. So he is dead, or he is coming to the world, did not even still stop him from doing what is needful to the disciples, because even those people who were at the synagogue were still a disciple, because he came to die for those people. But at the same time, he didn't overpamper them, because he loved them. So there's a difference between love and there's a difference between engaging your child in a bad behavior. There's a huge difference. So once you don't okay, sir.
All right, sorry for cutting you, but then the question is this: our time is fast spent now. The question is this: how does she know that, okay, at this junction, you understand, she has crossed the line? She's actually now enabling a bad behavior, you understand, rather than showing care.
Okay, let me paint this scenario now. I will use an example to explain it. Okay? Let's say now your rule in the house is that a child mustn't come back home, mustn't be outside the house once it's 7 p.m. That is the guiding rule. And your child keeps breaking this rule, and you kept showing that child love. You kept, saying that, oh, he's still a child, it will change with time. A time is coming when that child will not sleep in the house. So when a child has done something for the first time, you allow the child. He did it the second time, you allow the child. I think it's high time you now, take it up as a correction, as a corrective form for that child. I don't know if you are getting me.
Because
sure. If because as mothers, we tend to allow the child the first, the second, the third, the fourth time you're allowing the child, and this child kept breaking the rule, and you keep telling yourself, but I love this child. No, that is no longer love. That is you destroying that child. So at the point when the child keeps breaking the rule without you don't have to be emotional always as parents, honestly. Sometimes you just have to be logical. So when the child keeps breaking the rule, and then you kept allowing that child go away with that behavior, it's no longer love. It's no longer love.
It's okay. Thank you so much. All right, here's another one. What are practical? The other time we spoke about our world changing, and of course the advent of technology. Now, can you just give us maybe one or two practical methods to protect a child from negativity on the internet, for instance?
Okay, this is what I usually tell parents, and this is what I actually practice in my house. You see, in using internet, first of all, we have to, sometimes as African parents, we don't like dialoguing, and we don't have positive communication with our children. Once your child is, in fact, even a child at 2 now can operate a smartphone like an adult. I'm telling you, a 2-year-old child. So things are actually evolving. But what I will say is that we have to actually communicate very well with our children while we are putting some things in measure and the danger that is out there on the internet. What I do with my children at home is that under no circumstance will you carry the laptop or the smartphone inside the room. The rule is that when you want to use the smartphone, when you want to use the laptop, it must be in the sitting room. That is the rule that we have followed, and it really, because you see some of those things, some of the things that young people or adolescents, they engage in those days is pornography, betting online, and masturbation, and all these things cannot be done in the open. So one of the things is that you have to set time boundaries with the use of a smartphone and internet and laptop at home. It's very important, because you don't set boundary at the initial stage, it makes it difficult, because if your child is doing something that is not nice, if the child is in the sitting room where everybody is passing, there is no way that child is going to do something that is negative. Then another thing is that you have to tell your child, especially for those who are on social media platforms such as Instagram, such as Facebook, that they should be careful in accepting friend requests. Because there was this adolescent who accepted a guy, from one of the Asia country, and you know what? This guy, they got along very well that the girl didn't know when he started sending his naked picture to this guy. And then the guy now started blackmailing him, telling her that he was going to release the picture to the internet, except she paid so amount. So how I got involved was that this girl had to steal the parents' money to send to this guy. So when she could not put up, that was when she opened up. So we have to let our children know the danger that is out there. There's a lot. So tell them that in accepting friend requests, they shouldn't for now accept friends that they don't know. Okay, it's very important. So there are rules for engaging, on social media. So if we can follow, especially 3 of those things that I've mentioned, I'm telling you, your children are going to have awesome time on the internet.
Yeah, that's great. And I remember one of the things my wife normally does is from time to time, she does a vetting of their phones. She collects the phones and just scroll through and all that from time to time, unannounced. All right. Thank you so much. But then how can we identify a difficult child? What are the red flags?
Okay, like I said, the question I usually ask is, how did the child become difficult? See, there is no difficult child. Do you know what is difficult? Is the handler. Because you see, sometimes let me tell you how a child becomes difficult. A child does something. After the child has done something, has done that thing, the child apologizes, and the next thing you do after the apology is to still beat the child. Difficult, what we term as a difficult child is not something that we just start in a day. So for parents who think their children are difficult, I think they still need to go back and start and study that child, and then and they have to go to do like a background check, because you see, so many times we are just quick into concluding that this child is actually difficult. Maybe the parent of that child are not actually taking time to understand the child. That is, I'm talking from my experience, because you see, I work in the teen department of my church, and in the church, you see them pushing what the term difficult teenagers to me, and by the time I relate with them 2 or 3 times, I'm just like, these children are not difficult, because I learned to speak their language. So every child has a language. So as parents, if you don't speak the language of a child, the child will be very difficult. So number 1 thing is that you have to understand the language your child is saying to you. Okay? And you see, once the child apologizes over a thing, let's not keep referring to it. Those are the things that makes the child so difficult. There is no erring child. We as parents actually fail to understand that child. That is my take on that.
All right. Okay. As a child is growing up, how much liberty do you think we should give to the child?
Wow. Okay, thank you for asking this question. And my response is, liberty differs, because our children differs. There are some children that at age 15,
you can vet for them. You can give them a liberty you will not give a 21-year-old child. So in giving liberty, you have to study the child. And even in giving liberty, you don't give them liberty, complete liberty, you still watch them. So in giving liberty, one thing that I will say is that understand your child. Because you see, we have some children that even at age 14, age 15, you can see that they can take care of themselves very well. And whereas you have a child, even at 21, you can't give that child too much liberty. So one of the things you need to do is that you understand your children is very important, okay? So in giving liberty also to children, there's also need to still set boundaries. So for children of this generation, yes, liberty is good, but you don't give too much liberty. What you have to do as parents and what your children need is for you to teach them the necessary skill for them to face the outside world. And skills that I'm talking about are negotiation skill, assertive skill, listening skill, gratification. You know, you have to teach them self-gratification. We have to teach them, there are a lot of skill. I've talked about negotiation, I've talked about assertive skill. Then we have to teach them empathy. So once you are sure that you have taken your children through all these skills, and you are sure that they have mastered it very well, I think they are good to go.
All right. Yeah, just like Dr. Bose just said now, I think one of the key things that's our key highlight of tonight's discussion is this: each child differs, and we need to relate with them based on their temperament and who they are. All right, but one more thing. How can a mother prevent her child from negative peer pressure? Because it doesn't, I've discovered that it doesn't really even matter how much you put into the child and all that. Sometimes when they go outside there and they intermingle with the wrong set of people, they always come back negative.
Yeah.
So, yeah, especially when it comes to the area of peer pressure. Now, what are your thoughts? How can a parent actually prevent a child from negative peer pressure? What are some of those things we need to imbibe in the child?
Okay, one of the things that a parent needs to do is to befriend the child at first. Because you see, a lot of adolescents, they want freedom from their parents because their parents seems to be difficult. So when they are with their peers, they are more comfortable. So whatever they learn, they are okay. Because we have to understand that at the teenage age, especially, one thing that is key for them is their social skill. They love to socialize. So if you as a parent, you are not a friend to your adolescent, I'm going to repeat this because it's very important. If you as a parent, you are not a friend to your adolescent, you have lost that child completely. Because you see, before a child will take up some of the things, if you are truly a friend to that child, there are some discussion, there are some questions that the child will be asking you, that will be giving you signal to some of those negative things that the child is hearing. Like, for example, I have a child who is 12. There was a day she came home and then she said, she asked me a question. And you know, I knew there was no way she could have heard that question in the house. She heard it in the school. So what I did was that instead of me showing that surprise face, instead of me saying, where did you hear this? Instead of me shouting, I just had to calm down. I had to really calm down because, so I listened to what she said, and then I now had to tell her, explain that thing to her as much as I can. And then I now have to explain it to her that next time, when you get to school, when they ask you something about this, after I have finished, discussing with her, I told her that if your friend comes and they ask you this thing again, what would be your response? And the response she gave me, I wasn't the one that put it in her mouth. I explained to her, and then she understood it. So she gave me a positive response. So since that moment, she saw that she could confide in me. She saw that I'm not going to actually talk down on her. I will not actually condemn her. so since that time, anything that transpired between her and her peers, she will always come back home to ask me. So why most children they follow negative peer is, one is that, you see, peer, even for us who are adults, sometimes there are some things that when you stay with a particular friend for a long time, there are some traits in that your friend that you will start exhibiting. So peer pressure is very is not even about adolescent alone. Peer pressure is all year round. But one of the things why adolescents, they actually follow the negative peer pressure is that, you see, is a stage where they want to exploit. So some of them have not tried it. Excuse me. Some of them are doing it all in the name of, let me just try it and see how it feels, because my parent has not even allowed me. So another thing also is that we should allow our children to be free. Okay, then we should know the kind of friends our children are mingling with, up to their parents. Yeah. Up to their parents. All my children, once they start mentioning somebody's name, I will definitely interact with that child parent. I want to see the kind of home that child comes from. Once I see a red flag sign, I will discourage my child in a very corny way. So
okay, that's beautiful. All right, let's just take one more question because of time. All right, so let's just talk about this briefly. Now, nowadays, there is this trend, and I think it's getting common now, because you see some children now, they want to follow some particular musician. Recently, I was reading in the course of the week where somebody was talking about a particular musician, that the particular musician, he has about 4 baby mamas. Those are some of the things that are in vogue now. And what are your thoughts on all these negative things, especially some of these thought leaders in the society, some of these influencers, and then the youth want to go after them, and some of these things that they actually imbibe in, which are very, very funny. What do you have to say to that, so that most of the children that are listening to us now can learn?
Okay, yeah, what I would just say is that trend is absolutely a wrong trend. And you see, one thing that I kept telling people is that, and you too, I'm sure you will agree with me, is that for so many positive things that so many Christians they have achieved, we don't actually put them up on social media. One, what is being publicized on social media are bad marriages. Whereas for some of us, even me, I'm guilty, for some of us who have a good marriage, we don't even talk about it on the internet. So the norm for the young people is that marriages are actually bad. So being a single mother, not getting married, to a man, not be tied down to a man, is just a way out of a troubled marriage. And that is actually a negative narrative. It's actually a negative narrative. For example, when the Malians, when they started coming, a lot of our young people, they are following that trend. Why? Because he created a niche around himself, and he tried to, to make the world, he made loud, he was loud about it. So for so many of us, we don't learn what is good. And so we allow the things that are not true, that are not literally true, we allow it to flood the social media. And that is where the young people are. So, and that is some of the things that they are seeing. But I'm telling you, if you move close to some of those people, I can tell you a lot of them are not fulfilled. I am close to quite a number of them. So I know how they feel. It's not, I'm a mother. It's not an easy thing, to be a single, to just be there, to be involved in somebody that is not committed to you. So it's not really a life that you actually want to try. So to me, it's a no, is a no. So for those of us who are enjoying our marriages, can we also put it up on the social media, on the things that we are doing, so that people can know that there are still good marriages and not only about bad marriages.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been so educative and interactive. Thank you so much. God bless you, bro. And I think we are going to bring you back. Maybe by then we'll be able to have more time to talk about sex education and all that. But
okay,
I just want to say,
no problem.
Yeah. All right. On behalf of myself, Icons of Glory, all our team, I want to say God bless you. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And we look forward to doing more of this with you. Thank you, and do have a wonderful night. And to all our viewers from all across the globe, we are so grateful. Thank you for joining in. God bless you. All right, see you again some other time. Is well with you. Regards to your lovely family. God bless you. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. God bless you.
All right. You're welcome. Have a nice night. Regards to your husband and the children.
All right.
All right. God bless you. All right. Yeah. Bye. Yeah.